Welcome to Carol and Gary's See America Tour. Hello again, everyone. Well, as I said in the conclusion of our last video, the cold weather chased Carol, Jasper, and I out of Kentucky a day early. The campground that we were staying in Lexington tacked a note on our door on Wednesday, November 6th, while we were gone, saying that they were shutting off the water to the campsites and closing the restroom the next day for the winter. We had been dealing with temperatures dropping to 30 degrees overnight, but the forecast was for 23 degrees Thursday night, and they didn't want to have any frozen water pipes. I had been watching the weather forecast for Nashville, Tennessee, our next planned stop, and noticed that they were forecasting 16 degrees during the week that we were supposed to be there. In Memphis, Tennessee, the planned stop after Nashville was forecasting rain with unseasonably cold temperatures for Thursday, November 7th and Friday, November 8th, with the temperature warming back up on Saturday, November 9th and Sunday, November 10th, and then dropping to 22 degrees on Monday, November 11th and 18 degrees on Tuesday, November 12th. Jackson, Mississippi, our planned stop the week after Memphis, was also projecting unseasonably cold temperatures. After making a few phone calls, I was able to cancel our week in Nashville, change our reservations in Memphis, cancel our reservations in Jackson, Mississippi, and change our reservations in Biloxi, Mississippi. We left Lexington, Kentucky at 7 a.m. on Thursday, November 7th in a light rain. It rained the entire 430-mile drive from Lexington, Kentucky to Memphis, Tennessee. Tennessee is the 31st state that Carol and I have visited together, but because of the cold, we will only be staying for 4 nights. Hardly enough time to see much of the state. On Friday, November 8th, Carol and I visited Graceland, the 14-acre home of rock and roll legend Elvis Presley until his death in 1977. Elvis Presley was born in Tupelo, Mississippi on January 8, 1935. He had a twin brother named Jesse who was stillborn, leaving Elvis to grow up as an only child. His family moved to Memphis, Tennessee in 1948. As a teenager, Elvis frequently listened to black rhythm and blues music, sang at a local church in Memphis. Elvis began his singing career in 1954 with the legendary Sun Records label in Memphis. In late 1955, his recording contract was sold to RCA Victor. By 1956, he was an international sensation. He had a sound and style that uniquely combined his diverse musical influence and challenged the social and racial barriers of the time. Eager to find a rural refuge away from his wild fans, Elvis bought a 22-acre estate known as Graceland in 1959 for $102,000. No videoing was allowed during our self-paced tour of the house, but we were given iPads with headsets that narrated the tour. These first few pictures are of the living room. And this is the formal dining room. This was Elvis's parents' first floor bedroom. Elvis's parents lived with him until his mom died in 1958. His father would move out 2 years later when he remarried. This is the kitchen. Elvis had his pool room redecorated in 1974. 300 yards of fabric were pleated on the walls and ceiling. Here are a few pictures of the dimly lit jungle room. This is the view of the backside of the Graceland Mansion. The second floor of the Graceland Mansion is off limits to visitors out of respect for the family. Elvis died in the bathroom on the second floor. This is a picture of horses living at Graceland today. Elvis and his family owned several horses during their years at Graceland. When Elvis wasn't working, he loved riding his horses all over the Graceland grounds. Elvis owned several jets while he was alive. 2 of these jets are on display at Graceland. This is a 1958 Convair 880, named after Elvis's daughter Lisa Marie. Elvis traveled in this plane for the majority of his concerts. He also owned a 1975 Lockheed Jetstar named Hound Dog 2. This was a smaller jet that his manager often used to fly ahead to the next stop to ensure preparations were made for the next performance during tours. After looking through the planes, we walked across the grounds to a museum full of items including jumpsuits worn by Elvis during his performances and several walls displaying his music awards. The entire time we were walking around the complex, Elvis's music could be heard playing in the background. In another room we saw a collection of cars and motorcycles owned by Elvis, including his 1955 pink Fleetwood Cadillac. On Saturday, November 9th, Carol and I visited the Lorraine Motel in Memphis. The Lorraine Motel is home to the National Civil Rights Museum. I'm not going to bore you with details about civil rights, but the museum was very enlightening, well worth the visit. The reason that the Lorraine Motel has become famous is that former civil rights activist Martin Luther King was shot from across the street while standing on the balcony outside of room 306 on April 4, 1968. And with that, we are beginning to pack up to head south in the morning. Next stop, 7 nights on the Gulf of Mexico in Biloxi, Mississippi. I am not going to check off Tennessee as being visited yet because we were only in the state for 4 days, but we will plan to spend more time here on our next time through. If you like this video but have not yet subscribed, please do so to be notified of future videos, and as always, feel free to share with your friends. Thanks for watching!